Thrones, yeah. Couch of Thrones, yeah. Couch of Thrones.
Welcome!
This is the Iron Couch. Welcome to Couch of Thrones.
I feel like we're gonna get.
Right?
We should probably
get started.
Cheers.
In true Cersei style.
Cheers. The old gods and the new.
Hopefully not. Hopefully not poisoned.
I know.
Oh my gosh, that opening scene.
Oh dear Lord.
So we are here. We're gonna be recapping episode 1 of season 7, and we're gonna be doing it through the frame of this draft that we're a part of, this league.
Imagine fantasy football.
Yeah.
With Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
That's essentially what we've done. We've each drafted players in the round according to the draft picks, and right now you're looking at, as of week 1, first place, second place, third place, out of 6. So there are 3 other teams that are not represented here. We'll bring them in on other days, and we'll be able to chat between all of us.
Hopefully they'll be watching on Facebook and commenting. And so we encourage you, if you're watching this, and you watch the episode, you're a Game of Thrones fan, comment, let us know what you think. We're going to be talking about how we felt about the episode, predictions, all kinds of stuff. So,
and we will be talking about spoilers.
Spoilers!
It's the only way we can talk about how Melissa came out in front with a massive lead in the first, 10 minutes?
Like 10 seconds.
The cold open, basically I just killed
everybody.
Literally, my character killed many, many people.
And it was great.
And it was so satisfying.
Now, Arya Stark was your first pick.
I was the first. I got lucky that I got to draft first in our league. So we use something on Fantasizer. So that's a site that has a lot of different drafts for different shows, right? So Wendy has been in the draft before and invited us this year.
Yeah, and it was close last year. And this year it's probably also going to be quite close.
Yeah.
And the beginning, like the first episode points that you get, I mean, you can have a lead, but listen, get overtaken.
I'm not confident that I'm going to keep this streak up because I think I have 135 points. And then Wendy, you're second and you have 45. But that's because of this one epic scene that started off the whole episode where Arya Stark disguised as Walder Frey.
Which, we've got to talk about what an incredible performance
that
actor had.
That actor who plays Walder Frey, his name escapes me right now, but oh my god, the performance. Because you really felt like it was Walder Frey, not actually Walder Frey.
Yeah, it had a real, like, Orphan Black, Tatiana Maslany playing a character who's playing a character who's playing a character
like
kind of moment.
And
he killed it. Like, incredible performance.
Yeah.
And then Arya killed everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as we were sitting there, Trevor, who's also in our draft, and we should probably say our name. So my team name is S07E01, which is a little nod to Battlestar Galactica as well. And then yours?
Mine is And I'll Always Love You.
Love it.
Mine is Dorn, You Forget About Me.
Yeah. Then we have David, Brock, and Aaron Thompson, who are playing under the name Arya Stark Raving Mad Lad. She's also fantastic. And then Trevor is Brands over Brawn. And Christopher Bond is One Fish, Two Fish, Red Fish, Black Fish. So we all like wordplay a whole bunch. But Trevor turned to me during that scene before any of the actual dying started and was like, oh, you're going to get a lot of points tonight.
And you did.
And I did.
You maxed out the violence points.
I did.
Yeah.
There's a certain amount of points you get for, like, a good murder. But if your character murders so many people, it could get out of control. And so it's capped at 50. And so you got 50 violence points like that.
And the reason why I chose Arya, because when I was first to draft, and it was a lot of pressure. Yeah. I was like, who do you pick, right? Because you know that Daenerys Targaryen is going to do crazy shit. I am actually kind of bored with Daenerys Targaryen right now, so she wasn't even on my list.
You're bored with her?
I'm bored with her.
She just got home.
Listen, I'm happy that she's home, but I just find, because someone likened her on Twitter today to, like, the snitch in Quidditch, where it's like, no matter what happens, then whatever happens with Daenerys kind of cancels everything out, because she's on this path that seems, that everyone is talking about it seems so certain, and so I find that boring narratively. Like,
well, she has dragons, so she kind of wins everything.
Yeah, and she also has, like, the name, and...
And she has a claim, like a rightful claim, and she has, like, so much confidence now, and she has all these people behind her. I don't begrudge her any of that, I'm just a little bit bored. I also just really want lately people to get vengeance. Like, I don't know if it's because of all the shit that's happening in the world right now, but I'm just like, kill everybody, go after the people who fuck you. Like, I'm in a very vengeful place. So I was like, Arya Stark, you are my girl. And I knew she was my first pick. And so I was really happy when in the first, scene of the first episode,
she wipes out House Frey.
And the Freys are fucking terrible, so I was happy.
They're an awful bunch.
Do you think she can keep up that level of murder?
Well, it sounds like the next thing she's doing is going after the queen. So
she's going to get sidetracked. Though.
She's not going to go after the queen.
She's not going to go after the queen. Exactly, that's what I think.
Well, where do we think she's going?
I think she's going to meet up with her direwolf and go
Nymeria.
North.
And then go north.
Yes, I think she's going to go north too.
Because she's going to, I think, realize with her direwolf and maybe, like, Bran might find her and say, like, there's a problem, you need to come home.
Yeah.
See, my prediction
here... Do you
here...
think that Nymeria is warged by Bran then? Or you think Nymeria and her just meet up organically?
Ooh.
Because that's interesting to me. Like, is Bran warging? I don't think that Bran even...
knows that she's
Nobody
around.
knows Nymeria's around, right?
Not necessarily,
no.
No, only Arya would.
Yeah, right.
Now, my migration prediction is that the Starks are going to abandon Winterfell. And everyone in the north, which is the largest kingdom of the Seven Kingdoms, you can't hold the north from a bunch of ice zombies. And I don't know if it'll be this season, but I think the fact that the Freys are gone. The twins is the bottleneck, really, of Westeros. And you can really do a Battle of Thermopylae. You can hold off a lot of people at a bottleneck. And I expect all the Starks, all the wildlings, everyone is going to man the twins so that when the horde of zombies come south, that is where mankind makes its stand.
At the twins.
At the twins. And I think Walder Frey being wiped out now and all the Freys being gone means that becomes the bottleneck. It's the only place.
But what about, so legends have said that the White Walkers are trying to get to, I think, the Island of Faces, which is really close to Harrenhal.
Yes, we were talking about that this morning, right? Yeah.
So, I don't know. I think something crazy is going to happen on Harrenhal.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Because do you believe that, so there's been a lot of conjecture around the White Walkers and, like, what they're actually after. Like, what is their game plan, their end game. And so there's a lot of talk about how they want to end the people who created them. Like, the Children of the Forest. Like, ultimately, like, they've become alive again, or undead, or however you want it. They've been reanimated. And they don't want to be in that state, so they're trying to, like, seek vengeance.
And they think if they can wipe out the Children of the Forest, they'll get to die.
That's one of the theories, anyway.
Interesting.
Is that what they're looking for? Like, for their own, like, final resting death?
I think that's one angle. I think there's another angle where they just want to, I don't know, if it gives them peace, I think it maybe just gives them vengeance. Like, I think that's also just a possibility.
It could just be an Olenna move where it's like, I just want you dead.
Yeah.
For my own purposes.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay.
But, I don't know, it'll be interesting. I don't think that she goes, I don't think that, Arya goes to King's Landing, and I don't think she goes after Cersei. That's certainly not how Cersei meets her end.
You don't think her life has changed after meeting Ed Sheeran?
Gosh.
Okay, let's talk about the Ed Sheeran cameo.
Ed Sheeran.
Okay, so here's the thing about the Ed Sheeran cameo. Yes, what
lame.
The fuck. But I read that part of the reason why they did it, or the major reason why they did it, was because Maisie Williams, who plays Arya Stark, is a huge Ed Sheeran fan. You know, everybody has their own taste, and apparently they've been trying to surprise her for seasons.
Did they have to do it on camera?
I think that was the point.
I mean, here's the thing.
They've had Sigur Rós, they've had the guy from Coldplay, they've had, what was the other band? They've had several cameos in the past, mostly in just a musical capacity,
It makes sense. I mean, if you're going to have a musical guest, why not pull a full-on Saturday Night Live and make it somebody worth having? And I gotta say, he made a decent minstrel. He was way better than the minstrel from the first season that gets the, like, that gets the spear in the head.
Oh yeah, that's
I don't want Ed Sheeran to get a spear in the head in the way that I wanted that guy to.
I have other info. I read this other. Fair enough. So you're safe, Ed Sheeran. I don't think they're gonna do that to you. Well, maybe they will.
Well, I won't.
I don't know if she's gonna. Yeah, that's good to know. I don't know if she's going to. I think, like, but a lot of people were saying that they didn't really get why that scene happened outside of Ed Sheeran being on the show. But I think it was an interesting moment
Yeah, it's important.
to sort of really to establish the fact that she's an assassin and she has a purpose. Her killing has a purpose. She's not just a maniacal, psychopathic killer.
Yeah, she's not just a mass murderer.
Yeah,
Which sets her apart from all the people who've like mass murdered her family.
Yeah, exactly. Like there's a reason. If you piss Arya Stark off, then you're on her list. You should be. And
off you go.
But if you're just like a dude who doesn't know whether he has a female or male son or a daughter right now, and you're just eating rabbit off the side of the road, then why
you're
would
okay
she
in
kill
her book.
you,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Just because you're wearing Lannister garb, come on.
And
Yeah.
there's also the thing. One of the things about the phrase is they went against guest rights. So they killed someone who like came to eat at their table.
Yeah,
and
that
offered
was
food to.
That was a huge.
So I think
slight.
it was also really important that they offered her the rabbit and she ate some so that she wouldn't kill them.
Yes. Yeah. Good point.
Yeah.
I also read that the song that Ed Sheeran sings is from the book, and in the book it's actually about Tyrion and Shay. So the lyrics have to do with the hands of a woman are warm, but a golden hand is cold. And when I heard the lyrics, I thought it was about Jaime.
Yeah, me too.
And Cersei. But when what I was reading, they talked about the fact that they think that now because it's happening later than it did in the books. In the books, Tywin was still around, and it had to do with Tywin, and it had to do it had to do with the Lannisters, but it was further in the past in the story. So I think it was a nod in the show to Cersei and Jaime, if you're paying that much attention.
Yeah.
But there's also a little bit of a joke because they would always sing the Rains of Castamere. There was that ongoing joke in the show about how the Lannisters would always sing the Rains of Castamere, and so there was a whole thing about how this is a different song. There was a little joke, like an Easter egg joke, if you're that deep of a Game of Thrones reader and watcher.
Which we are.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
In varying
You are
degrees.
In varying degrees. Like, I've read the first book, but then I stopped because I was so enthralled by the series that I was like, I'm going to just watch the series. Then I will likely go read the books afterward.
Yeah, I found that when I read the first 3, and I found that once I read the books, I actually liked the exciting things happening on the show first, and then reading about them later.
That's something
Right.
I learned on The Lord of the Rings, actually. I
Right.
experimented with the reading and then watching and then the watching and then reading on Lord of the Rings. And I'm a filmmaker, so for me, I realized the ultimate way for me to experience a story is in its filmic form. And so as soon as this whole thing is done, I'm going to go read the books. Because I can go back through pages and play around, and I'm not going to be comparing while a show is live on screen, be like, oh, that's not what I imagined when I read it. So this way, it's
Right.
like I can enjoy it I can enjoy it on screen,
Yeah.
and then I'll read it. So in like a year and a bit, I'm going to go ahead and do some reading.
Yeah, I feel the same way.
Yeah.
But I do a lot of watching of theory videos and reading of things. And Wendy and I, pretty much all day long, just
We've been
send
chatting
each
about
other.
these things.
And we send each other links. How did you feel about that amazing shot of the White Walkers and the giants?
Yes,
Oh, walking,
giant
'cause
White Walkers. Yeah,
That was a pretty epic shot.
Yeah.
I feel like we've been seeing epic shots of White Walkers walking in the white for a long time.
Well, I mean, hence the name,
Yeah,
right?
right.
And as I saw it, I was like, again. But then it got really beautiful, and I thought,
was
okay,
beautiful.
cool, it's all right. But I'm getting really sick of just the White Walkers walking. We need another hard home scene. We need another scene
you're
of
gonna get
them
it.
just
Yeah.
ripping shit apart.
Yeah.
I want to see them tear down the wall. I want to see them do something nuts. I want to see them get onto the dangerous,
Okay, so
the dangerous side of the wall.
How soon do you think that? So Bran has now passed under and
The
has
wall.
now gone past the wall. So what do we think is going to happen?
I think that there's no significance to him passing the wall.
Okay.
I agree with you.
There's a
Because-
lot of people who've built up this idea that when he goes south of the wall's magic goes away and it melts or something. Bah, I disagree.
I think that if that were the case, then Uncle Benjen would have joined them.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because if Bran knew that the White Walk, like Mira knew that the White Walkers couldn't get into that tree,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
And then they could once Bran was touched.
Yeah.
Right.
And so, I mean, I don't think Mira is an idiot. Like, I think she would say, like,
Oh yeah.
if you can't, cross the wall without it coming down, then they wouldn't have crossed the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also when they crossed, there wasn't some big like crack happening.
No,
like,
there's
there
just
was
the
no-
moment where Ed like looks out onto the north. But I don't think. I mean, I don't know. I'm interested to see. And also, Bran is also one of my picks, so I'm.
Yes, you've got
I got
a
some points.
solid
I mean,
Stark.
Listen, I love the Starks. I love the North. I love the Starks, but more than the Starks, probably I'm the only person probably who loves the Mormonts more than the Starks.
Hey,
I
Leanna,
love the Mormonts.
whoa.
I love Bear Island.
Leanna Mormont has a special place in my heart.
Listen, okay, so let me tell you this story about our draft. So we were drafting, and Matt is my husband, full disclosure. We live together, and he knew that Leanna Mormont was high on my list. Now, I chose to not draft Leanna because I got to pick 2 characters at once. And I made a choice not to draft her. And then when I got an email saying that it was my turn next, I saw that Matt had drafted Leanna Mormont. And I texted him, all caps, traitor. Like, traitor! You did it also with Gilly, but I don't feel so bad about Gilly. Because Leanna Mormont is... And then we had a text exchange.
We think very similarly.
We do. We had a text exchange on how Leanna Mormont is the standard to which we would hold any of our children if we ever have children.
Yeah, it's like if they can't quite live up to the way Leanna holds court, I would just be unimpressed with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fair.
She's a fierce kid.
Yeah.
Oh, man. She's awesome.
And I love that she took Glover to task again in this episode. It was just like, I don't plan to knit by the fire while my home is being defended.
I don't need permission to defend the North.
Yeah.
She's just extraordinary.
And I also picked Alice Karstark. It was
as
late
like a
in the draft.
4th or 5th draft.
I had one pick left, and Alice Karstark was there, and I was like, maybe she'll do something. I gotta say, in this episode, I got more than half my points from Alice Karstark, who all she did was walk and like.
Because she'd be in the head of her house.
Yeah, good for her.
Yeah. So I will say I was really happy that things were not so clear cut between Sansa and Baelish. I thought we would start this season with her trusting Baelish more and like outwardly trying to, I don't know, placate or have a kind of diplomacy with him.
Yeah, I was surprised that she bit back at him so
hard.
Just rebuffed him hard.
Yeah.
And then like, I'm sure you wanted to get the last word. I'll imagine it was something clever.
Yeah.
I mean, it was awesome.
Yeah.
It was really good.
What are the consequences of it? I don't know. I mean, Baelish is such a slippery fish. And the one thing I really admire about, like, I really can't stand Baelish, but the one thing I really admire about Baelish is that people insult him to his face so much. Like, people go after Peter Baelish so much.
And he just takes
He just takes it. And that ability to take it and put it in.
Lock that away.
Lock
use it
that
for later.
away. And just his tactical skills in terms of manipulating everyone and getting this far in the game. And really, like, I think, certainly in season 1, he is the orchestrator of that entire narrative.
Yeah.
He's gone from being a man in charge of brothels to being a man who is in charge of 2 of the 7 kingdoms.
The Vale
Harrenhal and the Vale are essentially his. He has almost as many as the Queen right now. And that's pretty impressive.
But does the Queen think that that Littlefinger's still on her side?
Well, that's a good
still working
question.
for her?
I don't know. If anyone's watching, let us know what you think. But I don't know if that's... I don't know. I think that because up until this point, he has been very good at playing multiple sides. Mm-hmm. But I think that that's going to change. I think that that's going to change because eventually he has to start...
He's got to make the big moves.
He has to make a big move soon, right? Like, he can't... There's only so long, because people now know they can't trust him.
Well, there are 3...
Yeah. In a bigger way.
But there are 3 monarchs now. And he's going to have to declare for one of them.
Right.
And it's sort of unspoken that he's declaring for the king in the north because he's sort of there with Sansa, and there's a relationship between the Vale and between the north, and... He doesn't have to say anything.
Right.
But as soon as he has to say something, it means he's not with everyone else. And it'll be interesting to see if he just thinks... If he knows which way the wind's blowing, and he's like, yeah, I'll hang out with Daenerys and Jon until I can stab them both and be the king.
Never gonna happen, Baelish.
I don't
Get
know.
over it.
Baelish is on my team.
Never gonna happen.
I drafted Baelish, and I drafted Varys, because to me they're my 2 favorite, like, weird...
Varys is amazing.
But their relationship, to me, it's like the one from Babylon 5... that I loved so much, where 2 characters at the end died by strangling each other. Like, I feel like they're the two characters that will go down at each other's hands in that same way. And if you look at what Varys has done, he's gone from being in the small council to being in the small council. But you look at what Baelish has done, and he's now in charge of, like, a quarter of the realm. That's a pretty impressive step up. He plays the Game of Thrones better than Varys.
He doesn't, because number one,
Peter
Baelish is going to lose hard.
Imagine if he doesn't.
He's gonna
Imagine if Peter Baelish wins this whole thing.
He's not going to win. He might sit on the Iron Throne for like a hot second and then get killed quickly.
Oh, yeah.
By White Walkers.
But everybody, you know how many people are going to want to kill Peter Baelish? Like,
who
more than already
do.
But more people will. So he has not played the long con well. He's played the shorter con of, like, getting people to trust him, acquiring houses, acquiring allies, fine. Playing people against each other, pitting people against each other, great. He is not going to survive. Varys, on the other hand, whose main goal has been the realm, truly, I think, been the realm.
That's very true.
He, I think, could survive this whole thing. I don't think he's going to end up very powerful in that. I don't think he's, but that's not what he's after.
No, he'll be supporting a queen who can actually rule, as opposed to working for Baratheon, who was an idiot.
And also, like Varys works with more intelligent people on the whole, like manipulates more intelligent people on the whole than Littlefinger does. Littlefinger tends to go for low-hanging fruit,
like
and
Starks,
people he can know.
Most Starks are idiots.
They're not idiots. They're just too good.
They're slow.
They're good people.
They're just a little slow.
Yeah, they let their ethics and their strong
their
moral
honor
fiber and their honor get in the way
of a good idea,
a good decision.
Yeah.
I love you, Starks, but I think Sansa's advice to Jon last night when she said, "I loved Ned, I loved Robb, I miss them. They made some really stupid decisions. Please, Jon Snow, don't make stupid decisions."
Well, and I'm hoping that Jon considers one of the dumbest decisions that Robb made, which was be betrothed to somebody and then want to marry somebody else, and then everybody dies because of it. I'm hoping he takes that into account when ultimately there is some kind of proposal to marry the Stark and Targaryen houses. Because that seems like the only way. It seems like the only way to hold the North and sit on the Iron Throne. You need to have a marriage between them. There's a reason that Baratheon was trying to make that happen.
He's also a Targaryen. I mean, the minute that everyone finds out Jon's a Targaryen, everything changes.
That's why I think that's going to come out after there's a marriage proposal. Because Dany came to Westeros looking for a marriage proposal. That's why she left Daario Naharis behind.
Yeah,
because she knew she was going to marry somebody. She's not going to marry a Greyjoy. She's not going to marry a Greyjoy.
I mean, Mikhail Huisman is a lovely actor, but I was like, all right, Daario.
Had about enough Daario. Yeah. I feel like there's nobody for her to marry of any value other than Baelish. Baelish has two, but Baelish has.
Wait, what about Jon?
There's just Jon. Exactly.
Yeah, that's what he's saying.
Oh.
So
he's saying
Jon
that it's going to
Baelish.
happen. That Dany and Jon will.
Or they get really progressive, and it's Dany and Cersei.
Oh, that's not gonna happen.
No.
Also, Cersei's gonna bite it way before that.
Oh, yeah.
And hopefully
She'll
it's
die.
Jaime that cuts her down, because I would get lots of points.
Matt has Jaime, and he's very excited.
But hopefully they have sex first, because you get points for sex, and you get points for murder. So that would work nicely.
I think that Cersei's gonna be around till next season. I think Jaime will probably kill her, but I think it'll be like episode 2 next season.
I'm gonna agree with Wendy.
I say episode 6 of this season, Cersei bites it.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think that battle needs to end before the next season, because
then
the real battle.
Season 8? The real battle is
dragons and giants and frost zombies.
They're not frost giants.
Sorry,
not Thor, but
that's when Colin Feore shows. That's
not
when Colin
Asgard.
Feore shows
that's
up.
right.
And
They travel to Asgard, and it's that's the spin-off.
Yeah. Where's
Game of Asgard?
Where's a Lancel when you need one?
You don't want a Lancel fill in that glass.
I need a refill.
Lancel Lannister.
Yeah.
Traitor in so many respects. I hated that. I hated Lancel Lannister's face.
Watching him get exploded was so good.
In season 1 especially.
Ugh.
That like mincing little face.
Yeah. Anybody else?
Stand it.
I'm okay.
All right.
Thanks. And his stupid hair.
That stupid season 1 hair.
Dumb
Lancel Lannister, you suck. I'm glad you got blown up in the bale.
But the actor did a great job of being completely detestable.
Totally.
Oh, yeah.
Strong work. It's like Joffrey. Apparently the actor who played
He's
Joffrey was
so
just
nice.
so great to have around on set, but he's a detestable character.
He was fantastic, that actor, because Joffrey, just a little nod back to Joffrey, Baratheon, Lannister. I just loved even just the way he sat. Like, just like he would be in the back of a shot, and he'd just be like, it's like so precisely posed.
Can we talk about how Carl Jacobson thinks that Jaime may end up with the Stormborn and reunite with Tyrion?
Yeah. I think that's a possibility.
Yeah.
For sure. I think that's that's an astute observation.
Well, the neat thing about Jaime is that he's the only Lannister left on King's Landing that has a friend in all of the other...
Brienne?
Well, yeah. Brienne in the north is a big fan of Jaime.
Yeah.
And then you've got Daenerys, whose hand is Jaime's little brother, who's a big fan of Jaime. So I feel like he's the only one who can get out of Dodge safely, because it kind of looks like if Euron shows up and gets to
I think he's going to cause a lot
more
pain than it looks like.
Okay,
right now.
let's talk about Euron Greyjoy. I did not like Euron Greyjoy last season when he appeared. I was like, who is this guy? Oh, God. I wasn't a fan. I gotta say, the makeover, whatever they've done...
Oh, it's working for him.
It's working.
Yeah.
Because Euron Greyjoy was exceptional last night.
This new rock and roll Freddie Mercury Euron Greyjoy?
It's so good.
I feel real good about it.
Yeah, I feel really good about it. And I love how ballsy he is. I love the comment about his two hands. Like, just like right out in front. Poor Jaime Lannister.
And I love that Euron doesn't even button up his shirt to meet the queen.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's all the way down to here. This is me.
Yeah, I'm a fan of Rockstar Euron.
Yeah.
I'm sad, though, because I love Yara Greyjoy. She's also one of my draft picks, and I feel like it's not going to go well for her.
I think she's going to get captured.
Yeah. I want her to die a memorable death because I get points for that.
Well, let's talk about who Euron's promise is going to be.
I don't think it's Tyrion. You and Trevor last night both thought that he was going after Tyrion, and maybe that's who he meant, but I don't think he brings Tyrion to King's Landing. I think he's Alaria and Yara and the Sand Snakes.
I think he'll just kill Yara and Theon. I think he'll bring the Sand Snakes because
I think Theon's gonna live.
Oh, really?
I think there's more in store for Theon Greyjoy.
I'm gonna go with that. Yeah,
I feel like that can't be his end. Like, he has to come out as an Ironborn. I think he's gonna meet up with Bran and Jon, like, eventually.
Right. I think there has to be some kind of redemption beyond the redemption with Sansa, because that was important. Like, I feel like that moment of redemption was really important, but I think that if there could be a bigger redemption for Theon, I would like that. And I had I despised Theon like a lot of us did in the beginning, and they've done a really exceptional job. There's a few characters that I think Benioff and Weiss have done an exceptional job with in terms of taking them narratively and character development wise from where they were because we just rewatched season 1, taking them from that to where they are now.
Yeah.
I mean, Jaime Lannister is one of them, and certainly Theon. Like, just a huge shift.
Yeah.
Yeah, from not minding him that much to straight up hating him to kind of feeling really bad for him to thinking, oh, maybe he's not so awful once he finally rescued Sansa. And yeah, it's been quite a journey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'd be okay with him dying. I think he's done his thing. He's done his whole thing. It's just Jaime that I want to see complete his journey. And I think his journey involves killing Cersei.
I think you're right about that. I just don't know that it happens this season.
I'm hoping it does. Because there's no guarantee I'll be able to get him next season.
I don't think that Cersei ever actually agrees to the proposal from Euron. Like, I don't think that ever happens. I think I
think she might, but they won't actually ever get married.
Okay, so you think the proposal might be accepted?
I think she'll receive the prisoners or whatever she's gonna get from Euron.
Yeah.
And is gonna be kind of backed into a corner, and she's going to try, I think, to do the same, like, blow them all up kind of thing. And then I would really like if that comes and, like, blows up in her face. Like, somehow,
literally. Literally.
Somehow, like,
blows up in
like,
her face.
Jaime's gonna come back and kill her, and it's gonna be great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see.
I'm hoping that she tries to go through with this thing with Euron, and Jaime just can't stand this entire situation and goes frigging Kingslayer happy, and then he gets to be the Kingslayer and the Queenslayer. That's what I'm hoping for.
Well, I mean, there is the whole, like, there's the prophecy, which says that she gets killed by her younger brother.
Which could be one of two people.
Yeah, it could be Tyrion or Jaime. And then there's also the Mad Queen, and there's debates around whether the Mad Queen refers to Cersei or refers to Daenerys, because, you know, Aerys went crazy, so... Yeah. And we don't know why. Really, there's conjecture. I don't think it's Bran.
I'm fairly certain the reason the Mad King went mad is the same reason Hodor went mad.
You think it's Bran?
I think it's Bran. I think it's Bran trying... Like, I expect Bran to warg dragons and go back in time, and, like, I'm expecting to do even more of that stuff. But I'm pretty sure the reason he went mad, the reason the Mad King went mad, was because Bran went in there and tried to stop him from killing his... grandfather and uncle, which were the reason the entire rebellion started and the reason everybody died and the reason all of this happened in the first place.
Do you think
I think it's him trying to stop that.
Do you think that Bran is Bran the Builder? Do you think
no,
that that?
You don't think all Brans are Bran?
No, I think it's just a cool name.
All Brans are Bran.
All Bran.
All Bran.
We are Bran. Well, that's interesting. I don't think that's why Aerys went mad.
I don't think so either. And
why do you think he went mad?
I think he went mad because he went mad. And I think if he went mad because of Bran, it takes away from Daenerys's, like, I don't know if I'm a Mad King or not, or, like, I don't know if I'm going mad, or if it's part of me being a Targaryen, or me being a ruler, or what. Right. And I think her struggle to stay sane is taken away from if it's because of Bran.
That's true.
I like
she's robbed of that.
Yeah.
Although I haven't really gotten the feeling that she's had a struggle to stay sane.
Interesting.
Like, I feel like she's been working through all kinds of bullshit that's been thrown her way, but I don't feel like any of it was her dealing with her own sanity. I mean, she's had visions that were thrust upon her and all kinds of stuff like that, but I don't feel like there's been a through line for Dany that has been her mental health and her ability to keep it together.
I think there has been a through line, though, of her, especially sort of when she started to get some power in Meereen, in Yunkai, like when she started to step into that role of leader, there was a real fear I felt from her of what am I becoming, and I felt like that was a bit of a feeling of that, you know, am I gonna is this gonna take over me? And she's one of the only people in a position of power. I mean, that's what she and Jon share, that a little bit, that kind of awareness around, what does this mean? What does this mean to lead? What does it mean to be in charge here? I think she takes to it more than Jon does. I think Jon's a great leader, but I don't know how much Jon takes to, like, being a king so much.
Yeah, it's not really...
He's more of the leader of a battalion, or the leader of a...
He's like Baratheon. He's like Robert Baratheon, a good soldier.
But do you think that Daenerys is a good leader in that sense?
I don't know that she is, and I don't know that she is the right leader for the Seven Kingdoms, frankly.
I think she's become that. I think the whole 6 seasons we've been seeing has been watching her become that leader. You know, watching Meereen revolt, and then her putting it down in a way that wasn't just like murder across the board, even though that was suggested.
Right.
I feel like we've watched her for 6 seasons become the leader of a few people, a few more, entire cities, an entire region, and now she's moved on to reclaim the throne that is rightfully hers, and I feel like she's become that leader. That's the journey that Daenerys has been on since the very beginning.
I think the thing that the thing that makes her a good leader is she surrounds herself with great people.
Good counsel.
Yes. That, you know, she's one of the only people, I think maybe the only one who knows to do that and who listens to them, because Robert surrounded himself with good people, like, you know, Jon Arryn and Ned Stark, but he ignored them and you know, Robert Baratheon wasn't a great leader for many reasons, but I think that she does exhibit some great judgment in that respect. You know, I think I do like her discernment. As much as I love Jorah Mormont, I'm just gonna admit to the world my insane love.
And when we were drafting characters, you picked Mormont. You picked Jorah Mormont
5th, I think.
Early enough that you could have picked somebody more reliable.
Nope.
But
Jorah Mormont is so reliable. Jorah Mormont, you will send him away and he will come back and he will fight for you.
Did he get you any points this week? He showed up for
Not yet. He didn't give me any points yet, but I have faith.
To be fair, I picked the Mountain because, I mean, you get points for quippy moments, like if someone says something really like snarky.
Snarky.
I got
Lyanna
points.
Mormont.
I got points for Lyanna Mormont's snark, and I got points for Jaime Lannister's snark. But
Jaime was pretty great.
picking the mountain is like picking a direwolf. The only thing he's going to do is kill things.
I picked 2 direwolves. So
Back to back.
yeah, I picked Nymeria and Ghost. I was like,
And she's
straight
coming
up,
back!
Nymeria's coming
Yeah.
back in episode 2. So maybe it's okay. I hope it's okay.
But just for killing, I don't think Nymeria is going to be very quippy.
You never know. You never know.
Gonna be-
Unless Bran like works into her
and makes her talk.
Makes
Yeah.
her talk.
That'd be good.
I'm hoping for that.
That'd be
moment.
pretty fun.
But I feel like Jorah. So let's talk about the Citadel because we've come to
I was
the
gonna
Citadel.
say, like, I'm ready to talk about Sam's disgusting montage.
And yet, the funniest
The
moment in the
funniest.
history of Game of Thrones,
I can't
brought
believe-
entirely through editing and sound design.
I can't believe how funny they made that. It was hysterical, but also I could not watch it.
It was revolting.
Yeah. Yeah, someone tweeted
was
something
so
to the
good.
effect of like 6 seasons of like rape, murder, violence, bloodshed, and the grossest thing I've seen on Game of Thrones is Sam's like daily work montage.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's so
Poor
true.
Sam.
Poor Sam.
Poor Sam.
And didn't he lose
He
points?
lost points.
in
He
the-
lost 25
Yeah,
points.
he lost 25 points
Is
in the
Sam
league
yours?
because
He's in one of them. I don't know if he's in this one.
I don't know.
because
either.
he got a demotion technically.
Yeah.
The thing is, Alice Karstark got me points because she went from being, this disgraced person to being acknowledged as the head of House Karstark.
Right.
And so Sam, who at the end of last season was just this guy who wanted to go learn some stuff and got turned into a glorified janitor. He lost 25 points?
Yeah, so that's Trevor Martin, who's in our Brands Over Braun, lost 25 points
Sorry,
last
Trev.
night.
But I do think that, like, he'll redeem himself.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
He'll
That'll
make
come
up those
back.
points.
Oh my god, Sam's gonna cure Jorah Mormont, which will be the
Or you
greatest
hope- or so you
moment
hope, yeah.
in the whole series.
Yeah.
No, it won't. I know my love for Jorah Mormont is irrational, but it's because he's so tragic. There's something about him that I quite love, and he's made mistakes. What I love about that character, and there's a few characters on the show, is that he's made mistakes and he's lived out the consequences of them, and he's taken those consequences on. Like, he's like, yes, I did this. I sold to slave traders, and then I sent that message about Daenerys, which almost got her killed. Like,
What do you think his wife's up to?
That's a great
Wait,
question.
whose wife?
Jorah
Jorah
Mormont's wife.
has a wife.
He's a wife?
He had a wife,
He had
and
a
then
wife.
she moved on to some richer man because he
Yeah.
couldn't afford her tastes. But I really wonder what Jorah Mormont's wife is
I
doing
wonder.
now.
Yeah.
Oh.
Like, who is that woman?
She's
I don't
living
think
the
we'll see-
high
I don't
life.
think we'll see
I don't
her.
think
She's
so
living
either.
the high life in, like, where's she?
Highgarden.
Highgarden.
Off to
Or
Highgarden.
Dorne. She's
Yeah.
somewhere where people don't.
Got the hell out of Bear Island.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
It's
I'd
not
Why
for
would
her.
you?
go
Go to the Mormons. I go to Bear Island.
I'd go to Bear Island. I'm ready to go to Bear
They know
Island.
how to raise a daughter in Bear Island.
They
got
do.
that
Certainly
going
They
for them.
certainly
Yeah.
do. But I feel like I loved seeing Jim Broadbent
Yeah.
on the show.
Yeah.
Interesting
so
character.
good. Interesting character. Interesting that he believes Sam, but he also doesn't think it's a big deal and doesn't think that the wall's going to come
Yeah,
down.
That's
like-
also like a lot of beautiful foreshadowing for the walls. The wall is going to
come-
fall.
yeah,
Yeah.
come on.
It's gonna come down.
And all those maesters are going to be just like shocked and
Yeah.
amazed.
Or they'll
Except for
get a
Sam.
raven and be like, oh, they must be talking about some like part of the scaffolding that fell. No big deal.
Yeah.
Like the maesters aren't even gonna care when they think someone's reporting that it's fallen because they're so removed. I think the thing about the Citadel is that they're all so bookish and into their study that the world around them obviously doesn't affect them. Jim Broadbent's character was like, yeah, this happened, everyone thought it was the end of the world, we're still here, then that happened, we're still here. The fact that a kind of apocalypse that they have never seen
Yeah.
is on its way just is right over the head of everyone at the Citadel.
I
Yeah.
don't think they'll realize what's going on until it
it's
like
too late.
shows up at their door.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. I think that's true for most of Westeros and most of, like, I just feel like finally people are starting to believe Jon and Tormund.
yeah,
and,
all
and,
of the North is
Tormund! Let's all take a moment. Let's take a moment for Tormund.
Looks like we're the Night's Watch now. That moment was just, I love that so much.
He's marching to his death, though.
He's marching
Like,
to his death.
He's gonna die.
And I love that he's
But he'll
marching
go
to
down
his
great.
death with this just like a kind of like
Zeal.
pride and zeal.
Yeah.
Zeal is the
Yeah.
word for it. I will miss his flirting with Brienne.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
It's so funny.
His love of Brienne is so great. That moment when you could just see it from afar, from Sansa and Jon's perspective, and she's just kind of watching Tormund as he's like, getting in on, like, just watching Brienne kick the crap out of somebody and turning him on so much.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, of course it does. He's Tormund.
He's Tormund. He's gonna love that.
Oh, Tormund.
Yeah, he's and that whole relationship between them was built on an improvised moment, I think, between those actors, right? So good on the show for
allowing that to happen.
Yeah, allowing that to happen, and then capitalizing on a wonderful organic moment between two actors. Yeah. Because it's the kind of so
thing where when you're making a show that's so carefully plotted out that George R.R. Martin had to like write down what was going to happen in the books before he even wrote them, because HBO was like, we got to know how this ends before we start it. On a show with that kind of long Straczynski-style writing, the fact that they're able to just sort of add these fun little bits in there goes a long way, because you can write something, but when the actors are on set and you're building something new and fresh, and there's an energy there that you can't have when you're just a George typing. There's a whole other thing that happens when you bring these collaborators in to make it into a show, into something alive. And, the biggest comedy that I've seen in Game of Thrones is from editing. The editing of Sam's daily life. I was laughing out loud.
Oh, so gross.
Yeah.
Poor Sam.
So good, so bad, so awesome.
So from the preview of episode 2, we're going to jump around, so we'll talk a bit about what we've seen. But for the preview, it looks like the Raven gets to Jon, and Jon wants to go to Dany.
Yeah. And
then there's a schism, if you will, in the North about that.
Because everybody's talking about Targaryens.
So I was talking about Dragonglass recently.
Okay.
I don't remember if it was a video I saw or a conversation with a friend, but the idea was that perhaps the Dragonglass is like how... Okay. So Shireen had grayscale.
Yes.
And they lived in Dragonstone.
Yes.
And her grayscale stopped spreading.
Yes. Right.
And she managed to live like a normal life until she was burned at the stake.
Pretty standard.
Right.
We all remember that moment. Yeah.
So, I'm wondering if perhaps the Dragonglass is what has stopped the grayscale.
I wonder, because they mentioned something about going to the Citadel to find a cure.
Yes.
And I feel like Dragonstone was given to Stannis by Robert to hold.
Yeah.
And they were just kind of, like, that would have been Robert's choice, really.
Yeah.
So I wonder if it was a coincidence, or if the Citadel actually had a solution for grayscale.
I don't know. Like, it doesn't seem to me... I was thinking about this as well. If Sam is going to, as people are predicting, find a cure or help uncover the cure for grayscale for
And by
Jorah,
people, you mean hopeful you.
Hopefully for
Okay.
Jorah,
for my love of Jorah Mormont. If that's going to happen, why is it... It seems strange that maesters don't know about this, especially because Shireen...
They've already
cured someone.
Why
so why
would
wouldn't that be... This is a problem that happens. Stone people touch you and you get grayscale. Like, it's not a new phenomenon. So it seems strange that there wouldn't be some kind of recording or precedent around curing it. So I feel like maybe it was an inadvertent cure, or they couldn't, it's like an experiment that they couldn't replicate, and so maybe that's what it was.
Maybe.
Which is perhaps why it might need to be on the Dragonglass.
Yeah, maybe they need a peer review study.
On the subject of...
They certainly do.
They certainly do.
Now, on the subject of dragons, Carl has said, dragons, they are players too. Interesting enough. The dragons caused so much strife for... It was this person called the Game Master?
The Gameskeeper?
The Gameskeeper?
Yeah.
Yes.
In previous years, that the dragons are not characters we're allowed to draft anymore.
Yeah.
At least not on Fantasizer. And so I feel like, this idea of capping the violence points at 50 is pretty important when you have a dragon who's just going to, like, burn a whole city of thousands. So,
but the thing is, like, would he get conquering points or would he get killing points?
I don't think he's conquering. He's just killing.
He's just killing.
It's like...
Because the dragon can't actually then rule that land.
I mean, I suppose.
Yeah. Although,
maybe they can. Let's
having
wait
said
and see.
that, Arya sacked a city.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Okay,
she
so-
didn't
okay,
keep the city,
let's
but
take-
she wiped it out and left.
So on the subject of magic, let's take a moment because Matt and I had a large debate this morning, and we let Wendy in on it, and we'd love to hear what you think. So I have a lot of questions
About the
around
faceless men.
the faceless men, because my understanding from the origin of the faceless men in the books is that they are not shapeshifters. They take the faces of people, they put them on, and through skill and potions and a bit of magic, but not like actual shapeshifting where physics changes and
Not
the
like-
laws of mass
It's
don't
not like
exist.
polyjuice potion.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
it's not like polyjuice potion. So that my understanding is in the books that they don't shapeshift. But the thing about watching the show is that it seems like there's some shapeshifting, a bit of shapeshifting happening, or an incredible amount of skill that seems unbelievable. That Arya Stark puts on Walder Frey's face and sounds like Walder Frey, has the posture of Walder Frey, and everyone around Walder Frey in that moment believes it to be Walder Frey.
I think it might be actually like polyjuice.
Do you think so? But polyjuice potion, you change your size.
But
Yeah.
does it change the law of conservation of mass? Do you change your weight with polyjuice
Or does
potion?
it just get dispersed differently?
Yeah, like in in Star Trek Deep Space Nine, Odo turns himself into a pen.
Right.
That's got to be like a 190-pound pen,
Does
Like-
anybody lift it up?
right?
Yeah.
And I think someone does lift it up. Like Deep Space Nine isn't very good with this either.
Fair
but
enough.
I feel like the idea of the law of conservation of mass is something that this show tries to maintain because the waif and Jack and Hagar and Arya Stark
Mm-hmm.
and Walder Frey are all like 5'8", thin-ish people.
Isn't Jack and Hagar taller than that?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Jack and Hagar and the waif seemed like they were about the same height. But the thing is, Walder Frey, you never really see him sporting like a tank top. So you don't know.
I kinda wish
what
you
his
would.
Too bad.
Yeah,
Right?
it's really too bad. It's a shame.
I feel like we're missing out on an
Yeah.
opportunity.
Yeah, exactly.
Now we'll have to watch
Walter Frey.
Now we'll have to watch Doctor Who to get to see more of that actor.
Yeah, it's true.
And he plays a great first Doctor. But I feel like we need to.
I wish I knew his name. I'll look it up.
Yeah, check it out.
Yeah.
But
Walder
I
Frey?
Yeah,
I forget the actor's
because
name.
they brought the first Doctor back in Doctor Who, and he's playing him because he actually played him in like a, I'm not gonna call it a documentary, but like a docudrama about the first Doctor and the
Right.
making of the first season of Doctor Who, and he played him in that. And then Stephen Moffat brought him in to play the Doctor. And it's just like, oh, it's my job. It's amazing.
David Bradley.
David Bradley
Cheers,
is awesome.
David.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
don't poison our drinks. And I feel like the fact that all of these characters, none of them are the Mountain. It's not like Arya puts on the Mountain's face and becomes like 7 feet tall and built like a house.
But I think she could.
I
That's
don't.
what I'm saying. This is the debate.
Could she?
I
don't
think
know.
she could. I don't understand that magic, but I think that she must be able to. Otherwise, I mean, but Matt was saying like perhaps the
That's part of the skill.
is determining who you can embody. You know, that maybe part of your job is to determine who you can. But I don't know, like there were a lot of faces in the what was it called?
The Hall of Faces.
The Hall of Faces, thank
Yeah.
you. What was it
Sounds
called
about right.
again? The Hall
Yeah,
of Faces?
that face hall.
That face hall. There were a lot of them, and I feel like if Jack and Hagar was going to play all of those people, not all of those people were similar in build to Jack and Hagar. That's all I'm saying.
Fair, but maybe there were other people who were 7 inches taller or 7 inches shorter.
Yeah, but I feel
Who
like
would
that,
play those?
this doesn't seem like an effective way to be a contract killer.
Judging
like if your
by the-
whole shtick
judging
is
by the
that you
similarity-
can become another person.
But judging by the similarity of the faces when you put them on, it's a pretty
Right.
effective way. I mean, think of it
On the show,
I
yeah.
think of it like Simon Pegg's crazy masks in Mission Impossible.
right.
If you can get the voice right, there you go.
Yeah, but if you're not like Andy Serkis, like if you're not an actor who like can do voices,
That's part of being
you're like,
part of being a faceless man is learning voices and
I
learning
wish
like
we had seen the voice training part of her training. That's all I'm
We
saying.
only saw the ninja part.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and the like being beaten
the
while you're
ninja part
blind.
and the washing dead people part.
Yeah, which
Like-
is an important part.
Like
Yes.
Arya, let's all bear in mind the fact that at the end of season 6, Arya dragged Walder Frey's body into a place, washed him down, peeled off his face. Like there's a whole cool, crazy scene that happened there that we're not really privy to, but that fully happened.
I love how calculated and cold and methodical she is.
Yeah.
I'm obsessed with it.
Because she
and
invited
I'm a little bit afraid of what it means, what it says about me, that I'm so enthralled by it.
Well, it's great that within 2 weeks, she took that time to send ravens, invite people to a party. Like, she basically planned a children's birthday party and then murdered everyone.
Everyone.
Yeah.
Worst party
She's
ever.
my
Right?
hero.
Yeah. Strong work.
Let's talk about the Hound and the Brotherhood for a little bit, because that was a very interesting... The Hound is
Yeah.
such an interesting character.
Yeah, he's really come back to like full redemption here.
Yeah.
He's like really trying to change himself. But I also think was never really that awful to begin with.
I agree. I
I think he was just scary looking.
I think he was scary looking and
Yeah.
kind of used that to intimidate
Mm-hmm.
people.
And I think he was removed from his... He learned how to survive, so he was a very cut and dry kind of person. Those people had to die.
Yeah.
And so he killed them. Like, it wasn't that he was a bad guy. He just learned how to survive in a cruel world where your brother, burns
Put your
off
face
half
in
your
the
face.
fire, yeah.
Right? Right?
I mean, my brother and I had some fights when we were little.
Yeah, but you-
Nobody's face ever got thrown in a fire.
Yeah,
you
that's
took
what
a
I
toy,
mean.
right?
Right?
Yeah,
It's
that's what I
like,
mean,
You know,
like-
people have been thrown around when they played Nintendo in the wrong order, but that's different.
What do you think around the significance of someone who was burned? Actually, I think Ava DuVernay tweeted this, and I loved the tweet because she was live tweeting. Ava DuVernay was live tweeting Game of Thrones last night. What do you think about the fact that this man who was burned in a fire, who got points for the quip about being around a bunch of people obsessed with fire,
Mm-hmm.
that he saw those images in the flames? And do we think a new religion is coming to the Hound? Like,
I
what do
think
we
he's gonna like convert to serving the Lord of Light.
Yeah,
For
I think
sure.
so too.
Well, I mean, at the very least, he is acknowledging the power of the Lord of Light, which is step one. To know that Dondarrion has come back from the dead and is singularly focused
And why?
on... Yeah, and is singularly focused on taking out the Hound's brother. Like, that's the only thing, from the books at least, I haven't read the books, but the thing that I read about somebody who read the books saying that Dondarrion has become singularly focused on the goal of taking out the mountain, because every time he has died and has been brought back to life, a part of him is like chipped away, and the only memories Dondarrion has left, the last memory he can hold on to, is Ned Stark telling him to go get Clegane, to go get the mountain.
But then why is he going north?
Good question.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Reggie Fox.
That's a
You're
fair.
welcome.
That's a fair question.
The Brotherhood going north is very interesting. I don't know. The Brotherhood is a bit of an enigma to me. I still don't quite. I haven't latched on. I do love that there was a joke about a man bun.
Yeah.
Cause I before the Hound made that joke, I was like, "What's with this guy's man bun?"
Yeah.
Thoros and his man bun.
Thoros' man, because he's balding,
Yeah.
and has a man bun. Like, everything about that style choice is curious.
Do you think the Hound and Arya have a moment where they?
I think they will, and I think it'll be so sweet. And I think she'll choose not to kill him.
Do you think the Hound and
the mountain.
Clegane
Clegane
Bowl.
Bowl happen.
I want
Nice.
Clegane Bowl to happen
Okay.
for sure.
Who were you gonna say? Sorry, I interrupted you.
I was gonna say, if they're going north,
Yes.
and assuming that Tormund goes off and we never get to see our favorite knight from the Sapphire Isle consummate their relationship
Brienne
with
and Tormund don't get it on.
But if Brienne and the Hound meet again, how do you think that's going to go down? Because Brienne basically murdered him and left him for dead. So if the Hound's going north and Brienne meets up with him again, do you think the Hound's going to hold that against him? Do you think he's found enough religion
I
to
think
not
he's found
care?
enough religion
Yeah.
to be like, it was a fight, it was a fair fight, you won, I didn't die.
Yeah. I don't have a lot of connection to that fight, so I don't know how much that's... I don't know.
I mean,
don't know how
for a
significant-
year, we thought that was how the Hound died.
I know, and then
Yeah.
Ian McShane showed up and showed us otherwise.
Yeah.
For
Oh.
one episode.
Ian McShane.
But yeah, I don't know. I will be interested to see what happens with the Brotherhood. I don't have a real handle on them.
So what I think with the Brotherhood is I think that Thoros of Myr thinks that Beric Dondarrion is the prince that was promised because he died so many times and brought him back, and that could be the only reason why he keeps coming back.
And there's a flaming sword that's
in
going
the
to happen.
preview.
Yeah, there is a
So I
flaming
think
sword.
they might be like, I know, we'll go to Eastwatch because that's probably where they're going to come through.
Right.
Or they'll have, you know, the least amount of men come through. And because I'm the prince that was promised, I will just defeat all the White Walkers
Right.
that way.
And then he dies.
And then he
Yeah,
does. But I think
Dondarrion-
he's...
But he could come back.
I feel like Dondarrion is not as Arya. That's not
No.
a thing.
And I think also that I had heard that he has already died 7 times. And because 7 is such a significant number in the show, he probably won't come back again.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I think Dondarrion's done. He's done.
Dondarrion.
Oh.
Boom!
Yeah.
We did it.
Yeah,
We got
hashtag.
there. Hashtag
I like that.
Dondarrion.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So let's take a second before we get to the last scene. Do you have something to say?
No,
Okay.
I'm just
I know
excited.
you're excited. I wanted to ask what we thought about. There's a few outlier characters.
Like Olenna?
Olenna, I think is just with.
Who got
she's-
no
she's
points.
there. I
She's
know.
dead. She's gonna die.
So our
gone.
friend Chris, who's part of the draft, was confused about the draft at first. So Chris Bond, if you're watching, much love to you, Chris Bond. I believe he thought it was a Deadpool at first. So his first draft pick was Olenna Tyrell, who's awesome.
She's great,
But
but she might have like 1 or 2 like great quips.
You'll get
and
some
then she'll
points.
die.
Yeah, you'll get some points.
And there's a good chance she's going to be responsible for the death of people, but will the points give you a good, like...
I don't know.
Like, she killed Joffrey, but she
Yeah,
didn't
but
put
did
the
she get
poison...
those points
But she didn't
eventually
put the
for it?
poison
She
in his
must-
cup.
There wasn't I wasn't in the draft when
when that happened.
But Baelish also killed Joffrey.
Yeah.
So he would
So-
have gotten points for
But
that too.
neither of them put the poison in the cup. So it starts to beg the question. It comes down to how the gamekeeper decides to divvy up the points.
Right.
If Olenna sends someone to go kill Cersei, and it happens, maybe Chris Bond will get those points.
Maybe. We hope
Maybe.
so. Chris Bond, for your sake, we really
Yeah,
hope so.
I hope you get those points.
I
Chris.
thought you were playing some kind of crazy like game around theories. I was like, Chris Bond knows something none of us know, but he just thought it was a.
He didn't know something all of us knew.
But so no, I'm more interested in characters like Melisandre. We've seen in some of the trailers that she's watching over Dragonstone. So I wonder if she's already there, or if that's her watching Jon Snow arrive, or if that, I'm curious about Melisandre. Also, because she's in my draft.
I
but-
also think she's gonna die this season.
I think Melisandre's going to die this season too. I'm hoping she
Really?
does some really
Yeah.
interesting magic before then so I can get some points. I'm hoping also that magic involves her exposing her tits because that gives me points. And let's face it, that's almost
major
exclusively
source.
what she does.
It's a major source of her
Yeah,
magic.
like she takes her I'm sorry, I'm very vulgar about boobs, but she takes her boobs out a lot. But I feel like all those priestesses do. Like part of the Lord of Light is you have
Part
to
of
show
being a
your
priestess
boobs.
is taking off your
Just
clothes.
taking
I guess.
out your boobs.
Hey man, whatever it takes to recruit people. The Mormons do their thing.
Yes.
The Lord of
The
Light
Lord of
does
Light
their
does
thing.
his thing. He's
Yeah.
on his path.
He recruits people with really good boobs.
Really great boobs.
And,
'Cause
great man buns.
Because
I guess.
Kinvara, the other red priestess, has some great cleavage.
Yeah.
We haven't seen her boobs yet, but
No, but do you think she's crossed the narrow sea?
Kinvara.
I should hope. Like
I think
I'm
so.
hoping that everybody made it over. I specifically hope that Dothraki warrior Konos.
Yeah, he did.
He better have made it over because
'cause
I
Matt
drafted that
hasn't.
guy, and if he doesn't murder something, I'm out of luck.
I think he is, and I think what's going to happen is now that they've gotten to Dragonstone, I think if they take their ships around Dorne and go up the other way to Casterly Rock,
Yes.
they'll get
picturing
ruined
the map,
by if we go this way. They'll get ruined by Euron.
Right.
Right.
But the Dothraki don't like sailing.
No,
They
So
do.
I
hope
think
it-
they're going to run across.
Yeah,
I hope so.
I hope the
Western. I
think
the
the
Dothraki
Casterly
are
Rock-
just hanging out at Ironstone, having a good time.
Dragonstone, you mean?
Dragonstone, yeah, just hanging out, relaxed. Because get them off the ships. They don't. The Dothraki don't like it. The horses won't like it. Just get them off the ships.
Here's what I think. I think Dany divides to conquer. I
Yep.
think that the Unsullied and the Dothraki head to Casterly Rock. You see in the trailer that dual attack on Casterly Rock, Grey Worm there. Look, I think that happens, but then I think Yara and Theon, they take their shit. Like I think they get divided. I think they have to.
And,
Because
and
why
Euron's
wouldn't
got to
you?
take out.
Yara
Euron's got to
and
take
Theon.
out Yara and Theon
Yeah.
at Casterly Rock,
Or at least
on the
Yara.
shores.
Yes.
I don't know if
You don't
Theon's
know about
gonna die
Theon.
that
Theon, we're
fast.
not
I
so
wonder.
sure about.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're on it already. We're talking about that last scene. We're talking about what we think Daenerys is going to do. Well, how did we feel about that moment of her arriving at Dragonstone?
I thought it was perfect.
Yeah, I
Like-
love that there wasn't a word spoken.
I agree. I love that too.
Until the last word. And,
Yeah.
and it was like a great last words in the episode. Yeah.
But can we also talk about how weird it is that Stannis took everybody out of that castle?
Yeah.
And, like, not even a hobo showed up to be like, hey, I could just sleep in this sweet castle.
Yeah, nobody's around.
Like,
And
Nobody's
also,
around.
how
Not even
easy
a
it
dog
was
or like an animal just hanging about.
Nobody.
Yeah, and how easy it was to pull that banner down. She just like
Yeah.
yoink, and it came right down.
That was
Like,
hanging on
it's
by,
gotta
like...
be hanging on.
But
a
I feel
nail,
like
at least.
that's a metaphor for the Baratheon legacy. Like, that's how easily it just
You can
comes
take
down.
down these idiots.
Yeah.
I guess so.
Because the Baratheons just really... I think of all the houses, they're the most disappointing to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, outside of Robert's Rebellion, but Robert's Rebellion is upsetting to me because Robert thought that he was avenging something because he loved Lyanna and he thought Rhaegar, you know, had raped her and kidnapped her, but really, all of that was...
A
I think
lie.
it was consensual.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that Lyanna...
Fell in love with
yeah,
her.
And they
Lyanna
got
Stark,
married.
to be clear, not
Yeah.
Lyanna Mormont.
Best.
Yeah, that they got, that they eloped and that they were in love. And so even the premise for all of Robert's, you know, all of that fire and all of that action, it's so sad to consider
Which
how
kind
that
of...
wasn't on real footing.
It kind of makes Jon Snow the rightful heir.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because he's not a bastard.
Mm-hmm.
He's the
Because
legitimate child of a
Because by
Targaryen Stark.
by the way that they give it to the next born son, ants would get passed over in preference of the male heir.
Right.
So Rhaegar would have been the male heir, and then Rhaegar's son, who also was of northern blood, would have been like the perfect guy.
And that's the Song of Ice and Fire.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So we'll see.
So for the episode as a whole,
yeah, tell us.
I was a little disappointed
Me too. I was a little underwhelmed.
because I really thought, because it's been so long since the last episode
Yeah.
and it's Game of Thrones, I thought a lot more people were gonna die, and I thought bigger characters were gonna die.
In the first episode.
In the first episode, I thought they'd
Interesting.
kill like someone huge to like really get that started.
Right. I thought
Especially-
that it more
sorry.
would... Sorry, go ahead.
Especially with the beginning of like Arya killing all those people, I thought there was gonna be a lot more of
That was just going to
happening.
snowball.
Yeah.
Right.
I feel like they got enough killing out of the way for me to be satisfied with watching where the pieces were moving to. Because starting with such a bloodthirsty scene and just killing an entire city, basically, for me, I just wanted to see where all the pieces were now. And it was neat to see the Brotherhood and the Hound working their way into the snows. It was neat to see that the dynamic between the Starks was not as obvious as I was afraid it was going to be, because
Yeah.
they need some room to play, because ultimately I expect Sansa will betray Jon because of Littlefinger, and I'm glad that wasn't just
I don't know
telegraphed.
if that's
right
gonna
off the top.
happen
I don't know if she's
anymore.
gonna do that.
Now I don't think
That's
gonna
why this
happen.
episode makes this episode was designed to make you think that.
Oh, Sansa,
Yeah.
you're so confusing.
Yeah.
In fact, I think everything Sansa said at that table about how we need to take out the people
Karstarks
yeah,
and the
that's
others.
Baelish talking straight up, and I feel like that is a huge step for her to just be.
I don't know. I don't think that's
Baelish.
going to happen anymore.
think it
I'm
will.
starting to feel that she actually might help be the end of Baelish sooner than we think. That's what I think.
I think that I agree with you,
Yeah.
but I also think it's Game of Thrones, and they're going to keep him around longer than we think he's going to be.
Yeah. Well,
And he's going to they're going to surprise us when he dies.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he serves a lot of purposes, that
He
guy,
truly
right?
does.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, we'll see. We'll see what goes down.
And I need him to get more points.
Matt
Yeah.
needs him to get more points.
When Sansa shut him down, I was like, but I needed a Baelish quip for my points.
I
Yeah.
know, yeah.
She took it.
She took
it.
the points.
I thought that the episode would have more action because everyone's been talking about how the Weiss and Benioff and everyone from the show are saying that this season moves at a breakneck pace. Every episode moves at a breakneck pace, and I did not find that. I didn't mind the pacing for the most part. I felt there was a bit of a dip with the Brotherhood, but I feel like it's because we have to understand, obviously that's important. But I expected things to move more quickly than they did.
Yeah.
I know it's hard with the first episode of a season, especially one that we've waited for so long,
Mm-hmm.
and setting up the final 2 seasons. They had a lot of ground to cover in terms of letting us know where everyone was.
Yeah.
I'm hopeful that episode 2 has a bit more action from more factions.
And I think Chris Bond is hopeful that we find out where Olenna is.
Is he watching or no?
He could be, but I feel like not knowing what Olenna's doing is really costing him some points.
It's funny because if you watch the preview of episode 2, I watched one with a breakdown today, and they freeze frame on the image of Daenerys in the war room with Yara saying, like, we have a fleet, we have an army, let's attack King's Landing now. You see a figure sitting there, and I really think that's Olenna. I think in the shadow, she's
I
just...
should hope.
I think they all, like, traveled around in one group.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I think it's just that they didn't have her on that boat because why add another actor to your payroll that you have to have on that boat?
Yeah.
Also, Olenna probably wasn't in that little boat that they sailed.
No, she probably had her own boat.
Yeah,
with,
she's
like,
Damn right.
some, like,
A bunch of
young,
flowers.
healthy-looking men, like...
Fanning her
Fanning
and
her.
feeding her.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. Olenna is just...
That
sounds like
one
to me.
to be admired.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She had a lot of good quips last season.
So many. Oh my
And
god,
I'm
just that scene with the sand snakes.
Oh,
Yeah.
brilliant.
Points galore.
And it's good to know that even after the death of her family, she's still funny and, like, brutal because, Chris Bond needs points. How many points does Chris Bond have?
0 right now.
Aww.
But Chris,
You're gonna come back.
You
Chris,
have
you're gonna come
Dondarrion.
back.
You have Thoros. You
And-
have the Brotherhood. The Brotherhood's gonna do some stuff.
And today,
they'll at least
Chris
kill White
texted me
Walkers.
saying, "What? Are you kidding me? The Brotherhood didn't even eat or drink anything? Like, 0
Because we get
points.
We get points for eating and drinking.
Yeah, even eating something will get you points. So Arya, she ate some rabbit, she drank some wine,
Yeah.
and she murdered a town. Like, she
She
really,
did well.
she
She
did
did
all
well.
right. You
Yeah.
came out in
Came
front.
out well.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And understandably so.
The other character that I love, that I've loved for many, many seasons, and there's been a lot of conjecture of whether he's going to come back or not, is Gendry. So as we do these, we'll touch on Gendry where we can. I kept thinking maybe he's with the Brotherhood. I kept waiting to see his face.
And did somebody draft Gendry? Who drafted Gendry?
Yeah, somebody did.
I don't know.
I think Chris Bond did.
I don't know. I don't think. I think
Maybe?
I think Gendry has gone the way of Dario Naharis and
know.
Jack and Hagar.
Jack and Hagar, I think,
We're
is
not
done.
going to see them because
Yeah.
they've done their thing. No one's going to care if Robert Baratheon's rightful heir shows up. Certainly not Cersei.
Yeah, his
Yeah.
only purpose would be in the Brotherhood. If he took on some new purpose, but even that,
He can make a good helmet.
Gendry's story really didn't have any... It's a loose end narratively because he just sailed off and we don't know what happened, but in terms of his character development, Gendry wasn't looking for anything,
No.
right? So,
And he didn't die. That's
Yeah.
all we wanted. Melisandre didn't get to, like, take all his blood for weird
I
rituals
wish
of light.
if she did, I'd get points. So maybe...
That's true, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Maybe.
But yeah, he lived happily ever after, or he sailed off in circles till he died. Whatever it was, it didn't happen on screen, so it's okay.
We wish you well, Gendry.
What I would love is if
Okay.
he came back in Euron's army. I don't think
Whoa!
that'll happen.
Oh,
but like,
whoa, that's a real out of left
But
He
field.
got really good
what
at
if he
being
was,
on the
like,
water.
great,
I'm a
great
really
on the
good
water,
rower.
and then like found
Was
Euron.
in
They
it.
were like, "We're gonna kill you," and he's like, "No," and then joined them.
That would be an interesting way to bring him back.
Here's what I want. I want everything to be said and done at the end of season 8, and whoever's new in charge, and we see like an epilogue where we skip forward in time and people are just living out their lives in King's Landing, and he's just in the back of a frame just making a sword. Like, that's what I want. They just hire that actor again.
Bring him back
Gendry's just in the back.
for his
just,
happily ever after.
just making that sword.
Yeah.
Like you never left.
He never left. He got back his bowl of brown. Is that what they call it?
Yeah.
Just has
A bowl of brown.
He's just doing it. Well,
I think that's episode 1.
That's
guys.
episode
Great.
1. We hope if you tuned in, we hope you enjoyed it. We're gonna try and do this every Monday and talk about our draft, talk about the episode. So join us, and we're gonna post it on YouTube. We'll be there too. So if you wanna,
follow us wherever you want to follow. Get in, talk to us, because from episode to episode, we'll be checking out comments and interacting live on Facebook. In fact, Patricia Hollinger says, "Is Arya going to meet her siblings if she's going south?" Which is a good question.
That's such a good question, Patricia Hollinger.
That's why you guys are hoping she turns around and goes north.
I think
Yes.
she's gonna go north when she sees
Yeah.
Nymeria, or when she like gets word of Nymeria. I think she's gonna go north.
I think so too. It's going to change her mind because she's going to be suddenly connected to the pack again, and that quote that that keeps coming up that was actually not in the show but was in the book.
It was in the show when Ned said it to Arya, in season 1.
He didn't, though. We rewatched season 1.
Didn't?
He never says it, and then I watched.
And what is
it
it?
must be in the
What
book.
is the thing?
The quote is
It's like-
around the lone wolf dies, but the pack survives. And it's in the book, and I think it gets quoted later, but he never actually says those words to Arya. He says them in the book, but not in the show. But ultimately, that was Ned's philosophy, right? But I think she will have a connection to that wolf. I think Arya, as much as she has her list, she's on the track for her kills. I think she's going to get sidetracked because, a lot of stuff has happened, and I think you can't. She was so emotionally connected to her family and was witnessed so many
horrible,
awful
brutal
moments,
deaths.
that I think.
So many men in her life
Oh my.
lost their heads,
Ugh.
and she was right there.
Right there. So we'll see. But thanks, Patricia. Yeah, I wonder.
Yeah,
We'll
it's a
keep
fine
an eye on
question.
that.
It's a fine question. David James Brock says, no more talk about Tormund's pre-sex death, please. Hashtag points.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So
Yeah.
David James Brock wants those Tormund points.
Yeah, makes
Yeah.
sense.
He'll die memorably. Like, when he dies, it'll be like a 50-point death.
And I hope he's runs into his death with zeal and then dies this epic.
Tormund's got to go
Love
down
Tormund.
in wicked flames.
Oh,
yeah.
It'll be fun.
Yeah.
All right, guys, so-
thanks for joining us
And-
on the Couch of Thrones.
Yeah, the Iron Couch is cozier than it looks.
Yeah. And
Yeah, so we'll see you again next week.
Yeah.
And have a good time watching Game of Thrones Episode 2, because we're going to be rooting for our characters to win some points.
yeah.
Thrones,
yeah. Couch of Thrones, yeah.
Couch of Thrones.
That was my...
We got a theme song.
We got a theme song. Well, we stole it from Jack Black a little bit. But what are you going to do?
Thanks, Jack.
Thrones, yeah.
Couch of Thrones, yeah. Couch of Thrones.
Fucking Couch of Thrones. Fucking Couch of Thrones. Fucking Couch of Thrones.